Pubcast. If you're not listening to Pubcast, the terrorists are winning. That's what Jay Moore says.
Welcome to the Pubcast. Sit down and enjoy a pint.
Okay, welcome to a very special episode of the Pubcast. I'm a huge James Bond fan, and with all due respect to Sean Connery, I think Daniel Craig is my favorite James Bond. So after a 2-year delay, Daniel Craig's final James Bond movie, No Time to Die, just came out, and I rushed out to see it and thought this might warrant an emergency podcast. So Allison and Eric join me to discuss our thoughts and expectations before seeing the movie, and then we give our full review afterward. If you haven't seen No Time to Die and care about spoilers, either stop listening now or turn this episode off around the 24-minute mark. So here we go with our projections, reactions, and reviews of No Time to Die. Okay, No Time to Die. This is Daniel Craig's 5th James Bond.
Mm-hmm. The Swan Song.
In 15 years, yeah. We would have got 1 or 2 more from him, but we got stuck with the writer's strike right before and during Quantum of Solace. That's why that movie kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. It's okay, but it had a problem. And then he got hit with the pandemic.
Right.
And any number of delays on any number of movies with broken ankles.
I was going to say, he got injured
shoulder,
a lot.
Yeah.
And is he, like, excluding Sean Connery on the older side of the actors that have played James Bond?
No.
Sean Connery and Roger Moore.
Roger Moore was
older than Sean Connery.
Yeah, Roger Moore was knocking on 60.
But I guess the action sequences are a bit different.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Now versus then.
Well, I watched the first 5 movies.
Right.
And the quality of punches and there's a lot of guys running up to attack him, and he just grabs him by the shoulders and just like throws him onto the ground. Yeah, it's very Austin Powers.
Is it a lot of like point of view camera work, so it could be anybody throwing the punch? Like
no, but the punch is missed by a mile. But it's a lot of like just grabbing and pushing.
Yeah,
and the occasional punch, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, and there's no like parkour. Like they're not like doing any of the.
Yeah, it's a lot of very wide shots and clearly stuntmen.
Right. No one's in shape to do anything.
Yeah.
No way. It's crazy. So I watched the first 5 movies. The first 4, I didn't watch Goldfinger because I've seen that enough. It's fine. It is amazing how on the nose everything is with Austin Powers. I mean, I remember it, but seeing it again, I'm like, oh, this is all... Like, Mike Myers deserves no credit for making up anything because it was all in those movies.
Yeah.
All the stupid stuff was in those movies.
Was there a cravat? Because that's probably the only...
Yes.
Everything. Oh, really?
Everything that was in those movies was in... Or in that movie was in those movies.
Oh, my God.
I was saying the Dr. No clear... futuristic bubble costume with the
hazmat
helmet.
Suit or whatever he was wearing.
Exactly the same in Dr. No.
Yeah.
The mountain cave thing with like weird infrastructure and guys in colored suits running around and exactly the same.
The
turning dials and knobs. Exactly. Like nothing is different.
Yeah, I forget which actor it is, but yeah, the first time you see Blofeld is 100% Dr. Evil.
It's Dr. Evil. Yeah.
And
the funny thing is, one of the a random sort of extra. He has a line or two, but he's like a throwaway character. In I think it was Thunderball. It may have been Never Say Never, or it may have been You Only Live Twice. Some guy who plays like Henderson, some guy that Bond talks to and helps him out with something. They just used that same actor 2 movies later to play Blofeld. Like he had it. If you know his face, you saw him in one movie, and then 2 movies later, he's the main bad guy taking over for from Donald Pleasance or somebody. Like they don't. Anyway, so that stuff went away with Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Casino Royale was the gritty Bond. It was the reboot. It was Daniel Craig's first. And I still believe the best one. I mean, it's neck and neck with Skyfall for the best Bond movie.
Yeah.
For which one?
Casino Royale and
yeah.
Skyfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give the edge to Casino Royale.
I still do, yeah. It's
pretty good. I mean,
good.
Skyfall's also very good. It's very good. And I have to say, in that movie, at first I kind of hated the Javier Bardem bad guy, and then the more I've watched that movie, the more I like him as a bad guy.
More too.
Like, at first I was kind of like, it felt a little
Yeah.
over the top. It felt a little forced at times. And then the more I watch it, I kind of give into it. And
Yeah.
then I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it kind of came along at the right time because, like, Casino Royale, like, it was this, the first one, and kind of like we were talking about, it was grittier, and it was, like, more back to basics.
Yeah.
And it was sort of, like, Bond sort of becoming Bond, and then there was another movie in between, and then you can start to get to the point where it's, like, more of the traditional Bond stuff, where stuff does
Right.
get a little more over the top, and it's
Right,
sort of,
right.
it makes a pretty good, I guess, transition.
Yeah.
But even that, like, Craig's Bond is like a real world Bond, mostly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's not, water skiing, in a CG water skiing thing where he's on like a, what was the Pierce Brosnan one?
Where he's like paragliding.
Paragliding, yeah.
On like a tidal wave.
Tidal wave, like on some broken piece of something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
With Halle Berry tied up in a hotel made of ice, and all right, enough of that. I mean, it's,
And a guy with diamonds stuck onto the skin of his face.
yeah, which
Yeah.
could have been taken out with tweezers. Like,
Yeah.
Why? So, I read something recently that Daniel Craig's Bond it's different because he makes mistakes. He's the imperfect Bond. He's the guy who's screwing up all the time. He's constantly doing the wrong thing, and by the end, he sort of learns a lesson and fixes stuff. But he's screwing up.
Flawed.
He's flawed. He's flawed in every possible way. Whereas previously, they, Connery and Roger Moore especially.
They never break. It's like they never break a stride.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happens, it just keeps on going.
They always
exactly
know
right
what
for
to
them.
do and how to do it.
Yeah.
And they always say the right thing. And
And there's not
Craig
so
doesn't.
much of the going rogue, right?
well, and that's the other thing.
I'm trying to. I mean, it's
No.
been ages since I've watched those movies. It's like he's by the book.
He does somewhat, but almost every Bond movie, all the best ones, I think, start with, they have the cold open thing, but then when they get into the movie, it's M giving Bond a mission.
Right.
Not in any of the Craig movies.
Yeah, no.
Except Casino Royale, I guess. But he wasn't a 000 yet, or had just become one.
Well, he gets a mission after going rogue.
Right.
Like he
always
goes
rogue.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pet peeve I have about these Daniel Craig movies, is that he's always rogue. He's never doing a mission. He's always going against the word of M or MI6 or whoever.
But I guess what I like about it is it actually shows an intuition and an ability that exceeds any other of the technology, the intelligence that MI6 has, that he always is a step or two ahead of them. And I think that's what makes him excel even more as a 00 agent.
He's cutting through the red tape.
Yeah.
Of
he's flawed, but at the same time he knows what has to be done.
Right.
Yeah. I would love to see him walk into the room with the tufted leather door, of M's office, and just get a mission. And all right, I'm gonna go do that thing. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, M hits the button on the remote control, and the bookshelf moves, and there's a computer screen showing a picture of somebody.
Yeah. I want to see, like,
This guy is suspicious.
do the thing. Yeah. We have a mission. Go complete it, Mr. Spy.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we were watching Spectre, and Spectre has its issues, but the beginning part is cool with the Day of the Dead thing in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the helicopter part of Spectre in the cold open, or the beginning part. And he's attacking essentially two guys in a helicopter flying above 100,000 people.
Upside down.
Upside down. Aren't you supposed to be a spy?
Well,
You're
but
a
that's what they
spy.
say. But that's what they say at the.
I know.
They're like, "Aren't you a spy?" Like, this was the most public thing you could have
Right.
possibly done.
I know.
What are you doing?
Which goes back to him screwing up.
Right.
But like,
again, it's the intuition.
it's such a...
But actually, in that movie, M does give him a mission. It answers what you were saying. She had that video.
Well, the old M, the dead M.
Well, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's his M.
But that wasn't an official mission. It was go kill this guy and go to his funeral.
So I've got a question. So in watching Spectre, I had forgotten like the most important plot point of the movie, which is the connection
To Blofeld?
So
Yeah.
as the like a foster child or whatever. And obviously there is a similar plot point in Austin Powers.
Right. The brother.
Was there did that come from an old James Bond? So like, did it go from Bond to Austin, like real to spoof to real again?
I believe, I don't know if it happened exactly like in Spectre, but there was always a connection there when they were young, I believe.
I know the character.
Franz Oberhauser.
Yeah,
In the books.
the dad
Yeah.
is a character from the books that helped raise Bond, but I don't know that there was any. I don't know if they ever said anything about having a son or being any kind of relationship between Bond and this guy's son. It's just
In the books, Bond's parents did die in a mountaineering accident, which they say that's how Oberhauser's dad died or parents died. So I don't know if there's saying that there was a connection there with those or not, but whatever. There is some sort of a family or pseudo family connection with them in the books, I believe.
I mean, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I've never read one of the books, but
I read the books, but it was a long time ago, and I don't remember there
because I
being one.
assumed that for them to spoof it in Austin Powers, it came from that. But then I'm
maybe
it's
everything
like
came from
the
that,
exact plot point again. Like,
So going into this movie, we've got Blofeld is caught and in jail of some sort.
correct.
We've got Madeline Swan is Bond's girlfriend at the moment.
They leave together
leave
wherever,
together.
whatever
He's-
that
right.
is going to mean.
Yeah, from what I've seen from the trailers, Bond has quit, and there's a new 007.
Yeah.
The female agent is now assigned as 007.
The code name 007,
Hmm.
Which blows up that theory of that James Bond is a code name, and that's why you see so many actors that they just take on the moniker of James Bond and are playing him at the time being. Well, no, that's not the case. His name is James Bond, Daniel Craig, and the code name's 007, as we all thought. So the reason why I watched Dr. No is because there was all these rumors and theories that Rami Malek's character was going to be a reboot, a new Dr. No.
Oh.
And there were a number of different connections you could make why that would be so. The director came out and said, no, it's not the case.
Yeah.
He's definitely not Dr. No. He's somebody else. But that's what that got me to start watching these movies again, was like, oh, this might be a new Doctor No,
Yeah.
rebooting it. No, it's a new villain, new story, new everything.
Yeah, I mean, I have, other than watching Spectre and seeing, I think, one of the trailers, like,
Yeah.
I am going into this completely fresh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know enough about it, other than I know there were some of the same characters from Spectre, which is why I
Yeah.
wanted to rewatch
So-
that movie.
What do we want out of this movie going in? I want a conclusion. I want something at the end. Bond is dead, is gone,
Oh.
is retired, somehow faked his death. He's gone, and then the next 007 will take over. I want finality for Craig's Bond.
Yeah. I would have, not knowing what you had just said about this, going into this, that there is another 007 already. Like, that would have been what I would have been looking for.
That may be temporary because he's retired in this movie or whatever.
Yeah.
So who knows?
But that would be kind of it, where there is a new
Yeah.
007. But I don't need him to die. I don't need that to happen. But
Do we want to see Blofeld behind Spectre and Spectre's behind whatever's going on here? Are we done with that? Do we want to see, is Rami Malek somebody we want to see as the leader, the guy behind the organization or whatever? What do you think?
I mean, it's being that this is the final of the Daniel Craig, they're going to have that storyline is going to come to some sort of solution. I mean, I could be wrong, but the next James Bond, whoever, whenever that is, I don't see it being a continuation of whatever plot lines we've been watching.
I think this is kind of a unique situation. Like all the other James Bonds, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, they just sort of their time as Bond just sort of ended.
Right.
Whereas with Daniel Craig, it was very much like, okay, this is the end for him, and they're planning some sort of finale for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pierce Brosnan didn't decide to quit.
I was just going to say, yeah.
I know.
I don't remember.
So what do you want to see? Do you want to see Blofeld still pulling the strings from prison, and he's no matter what happens, he's still behind Bond's pain? Do you want to see a new villain come up that may just be for that movie, or maybe he continues to the next movie or two? Do you want to see Bond just sort of fade off into the sunset without, just disappear? Do you want to see just it ends like a normal Bond movie, and he could theoretically show up in the next one, and it would make sense in the continuity of it? What do you want to see?
I want conclusion on the whole
Vesper, the whole thing from the beginning?
I'm on the Spectre kind of the whole. I want a conclusion on that.
Spectre, Madeline.
Yeah.
That,
but I don't need James Bond to die. Like, I am comfortable with that character ending in a way that he theoretically could come back.
you want to see the stuff that...
But it could be like he walks off into the sunset, but he's done that before, and
you
he
want to
comes
see
back.
the stuff that carried over from Spectre be resolved.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
Is that it?
Yeah,
Anything else?
yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that needs to come to a resolution, and then for me, I think I would just like to see. I don't need to see him die. I don't think that's the way to go.
I don't mean actually die, but like fake death.
Just some way where it's over for him and he's okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we know he's retired for part of this, so who knows? I mean, he's coming back. He has to do something, right? Mm-hmm. So, all right. So now we're gonna go watch the movie. Everyone listening, I'm gonna play the trailer. So we will come back after the trailer, and then discuss what we just saw and react to it and overreact to it and see what happens.
Yay.
Why would I betray you? We all have our secrets. You just didn't get to yours yet.
The world is arming faster than we can respond.
Where's 007?
I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this.
The world's moved on, Commander Bond.
You were 00?
2 years. So stay in your lane. You get in my way, I will put a bullet in your knee. The one that works.
I thought you two would get along.
Name?
Bond.
James Bond.
So you're not dead?
Hello, Q. I've missed you.
It's the most valuable asset this country has. If you feel yourself losing control, I'm not going to lose
Control. James, you gave up everything for her. When her secret finds its way out, it'll be the death of you. What is it?
You don't know what this is.
James Bond. License to Kill. History of violence. I could be speaking to my own reflection. Only your skills die with your body. Mine will survive long after I'm gone.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
All right, we're back from seeing No Time to Die in the theater. Opening weekend.
In which we have spent 20 minutes in complete silence on the way home, waiting to talk about it now.
So, initial impressions.
I thought it was very good. It did not feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes at all. It did not feel like a almost 3-hour movie to me.
Anybody want one?
Good.
Well, it didn't. I agree. I mean, I'm never one to say that a movie is too long.
Yeah.
Because if it's good, it's fine. There were parts that dragged in the middle a little bit, but that's going to happen as they're trying to set things up and wrap it up a little bit. But
I'm saying it didn't feel like we were sitting there for almost 3 hours.
Yeah. No. I liked it overall.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good way to wrap up Daniel Craig's time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
It seemed like you're waiting to say
well, I mean, I have commentary on the end, but I don't know that we want to start with the end. But
well, overall.
Yeah. I mean, the ending is hard not to be like, oh. At least for me.
Yeah.
But the way everything got set up until that point, it was the only way it could end, really. But I still was kind of like, you wanted him to get out of there.
Yeah.
You know, like it's that you just didn't want that to be the end.
Well, yeah. And there's so many outs for the producers of the next film. Well, the producers that are of all the films. Because you can always do a thing like we didn't find a body or one of those things, or he got out on a boat that we didn't see, or he was...
Right.
Something happened where he escaped.
Right.
But also, the movies, except for except for most of the Daniel Craig ones, the movies are standalone movies. Like they don't...
Right.
They almost never bleed into the other ones, except for like Spectre doing their things sort of lingering over a few movies. But otherwise, they're standalone movies. He could die here, and then someone else takes over for the next one, and they're just different anthology movies about this guy or whatever. It's like the multiverse, basically, of James Bond.
Right. No, I agree. I still felt like it. Again, he was evolving as a human being, and like he was close to salvation, and
I think that's the best part is that he always almost gets there, and then he gets undercut by something.
Yeah.
He never gets fulfilled ever.
Yeah. Eric, you've been so quiet.
Yeah. I did very much enjoy the movie. I still don't know how I feel about the ending.
Yeah.
I know.
It's because there's all those sort of like tropes of storytelling. Is somebody were they irredeemable?
Right.
At the end that they just that it was the best thing for them that their character that they do die, or did he deserve? He didn't. Did he deserve a happy ending? It's sort of how does that? Yeah. I still need more time to process that.
Well, and every time you normally leave a James Bond movie, like you're leaving on a high of he is like gotten the bad guy, he's escaped the big thing, he's done this whole thing, and you're ready for the next one. And this ending is so
We
different.
know there's going to be a next James Bond.
Correct.
But at the end of every movie, almost all the movies, now we didn't stick to the very end to see the credits and stuff, but
James Bond will return.
It always says James Bond will return. And in the 60s, it would say James Bond will return and give the actual title, because they were printing one out every year. They knew what was happening. You can't do that now, but it always says James Bond will return.
Yeah.
This time, at least what we saw, it didn't say that. We know he will, and it will, but it gave some finality.
I never really thought about that.
Craig.
If we should have stayed at the very end of the.
It doesn't matter. Really,
now it is going to bother me. We're going to have to send our neighbor off to stay to the end credits and tell us if it's what it said at the end, if anything.
A 2-second Google search will tell you if it happened or not.
Google can do that.
I know. But so, had he not died, he would have been living through more and more pain.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The build up to that moment,
This
that
was
was the only
a
way
mercy.
that movie. Yeah, that was the only way the movie could end.
Yeah.
But it was still a bitter pill to swallow, for sure.
Yeah, once he was infected and he was never going to be able to touch either Madeline or his daughter again, it's like, then that's it.
Yeah.
He can't live with that.
Yeah.
So, the 3 loves of his life, the 3 women, Vesper, the original M, and Madeline, and the daughter, they all died, or he was never able to get time with them.
Yeah.
He was just tortured his whole career.
Yeah, his
whole
life was a torture.
That's why this Bond is so good.
Yeah. It was, the entire series was, I think, more compelling. Like, the others were fun and, there was a bit of camp to it or whatever. These were more interesting, compelling, gritty, kind of like it just felt a little bit more real, although it had unreal things that would happen.
So,
yeah.
Before going into Spectre, Daniel Craig said he wanted to inject a little more Roger Moore into the telling of Bond's story. He wanted a little more of the campiness, a little more of the fun. Gadgets, goofiness, jokes, stuff like that. You can't go as far as Roger Moore did.
Right. But I would say this movie had like
Right.
all the elements of like some
absolutely.
old James Bond. And we talked about it before we went to the movie. The Dr. Evil, like the clear suits, those were in there.
That wasn't
the
accidental.
random workers, like just like stirring the pot and like
the volcano
whatever. Like,
layer, it had that. I mean, it had more gadgets than any other Daniel Craig movie by far.
Yeah.
All the stuff in the car in the beginning was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it was a nice homage toward the end with when he was in the round tunnel and he turned and shot. You know, it was like the barrel roll.
The gun barrel scene recreated. There were one-liners, little quips, like when he killed the guy and he made a little line. It was Daniel Craig finally getting to do the stuff he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem out of place. It worked for me. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was great.
I enjoyed when he introduces Madeline and his daughter to 007 and is like, this is my family? Like, he was like completely baffled that was the appropriate introduction.
Right. I didn't like seeing Felix Leiter.
Oh, agree.
Because he, in the books and in the previous movies, previous Bond's stories, he's like Bond's only friend or partner and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And to see him die, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was hard.
They didn't really develop him that much, but fine.
He was, in the books, though, he was... he did... If I remember right in the books, I think he lost an arm to a shark.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he would pop in every once in a while.
Right.
But he wasn't...
Yeah, he was never a big part, but he was like the only human connection Bond had, it seemed like.
Was it one of the Timothy Dalton Bonds where Felix is killed and that the whole plot of the movie is Bond getting revenge for Felix?
The movie opens at Felix's wedding.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and he gets killed on his wedding day. It was that day, right? It had to be.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess there is a precedent for Felix dying, but at the same time, it's
Jeffrey Wright too.
You don't want Jeffrey Wright to ever die.
No.
Of course, Logan Ash was a bad guy, or whatever his name was. Of course he was. He looked like a weasel to begin, from the get-go.
Where's he from? What's his name?
I can't remember where he's from.
It was bugging me through the whole movie, but he was part of the way through. It dawned on me I know him being one of the dirtbag real estate guys from The Big Short.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I remember
That's
him
not
from.
where I know him from something else, and he plays a weasel in that too.
It's him and Schmidt are from New Girl are the douchebag realtors.
That guy. Yes. Of course he was a bad guy. Definitely. So one thing I wanted to mention before we went and saw this, but we didn't have time. We had to get out of here to go see the movie. But in our pre-watching part of the podcast, I wanted to mention one of the things I wanted to see in this movie, because Bond hasn't really had it except for a little bit previously. I'll get to that in a second. I wanted to see a good henchman with a gimmick.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of had a little bit of that with Dave Bautista, Inspector Hinks, whatever his name was, with the I don't know, sterling silver thumbnail razors, or whatever the hell he had going on there. Fine. This one had that guy with the eye, and Bond called him Cyclops.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That was perfect. It was a little over the top, but it wasn't crazy. It wasn't too crazy. It was great. It's We got a little crazy villain stuff. We got henchmen. We got gadgets. We got one-liners. We got homages.
Yep.
This kind of wrapped up a lot of the stuff.
It was like they
least.
packed in everything that is James Bond into this. Some good stunts. All the chasing through that Italian town and stuff like that. The motorcycle leap.
The cold open was awesome, I thought.
Yeah.
It was different than any other one. It sort of as a slow build or whatever.
Yeah.
That had to be the longest one I've ever seen.
It must have been 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good.
I could not, and I finally just looked it up on my phone, could not place the female spy that he went to the event with, and it's of course the girl,
Anna de Armas.
Yeah. I could not
from Knives
Out. I know with Daniel. I'm like, I know this one. I can't place it. Like
Daniel Craig told the people at Bond or Eon, I'm working with this girl Anna de Armas on Knives Out. We need to use her in Bond. In the next Bond. She'd be great. She'd be, for this role or that role or whatever.
Right.
But it all happened from Knives Out.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of figured, but...
I didn't understand why she was being so coy with him at the start as to...
And either.
Unless it was just to kind of mess around with him because, one, he was not officially working for the agency. So it was...
Right.
And it was... He was being a bit, flirty or whatever, and so she just kind of played along with it like you just think I'm an idiot and you're going to easily believe me that I'm not prepared for this gig, and...
I was definitely, on the wrong foot with her, too. I'm like, I don't know it wasn't bad, but it was... Yeah. I couldn't figure out what the purpose of her doing that, if maybe just for jokes. I don't know what was going on, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably to also...
but she was with CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Leiter.
Yeah. I'm guessing it was just for the element of surprise type thing that she could kick ass.
So, 007, non-Bond. Her name was...
I don't remember what it was.
Naomie.
Oh, yeah.
N-O-M-I, I think it is. Naomie.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that she was obsessed with, I'm 007, you're Bond, and then, you're 00 what? Or
00 what?
That was good. I have this standing question that we need answered that we can't answer right now. How many 00s are there at any given time? It's got to be single digit. It's got to be 9, right? There's no way there's a 0010.
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah, there was one of the Bond movies where they are all in a room and there's chairs, they're all in chairs lined up, and then one chair is empty because Bond was late or something.
That's the one that was, I think You Only Live Twice. I think I just saw it.
Yeah. So I think there's 9. I think there's...
Gotta be 9.
I think it's 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was Sean Bean 006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like a good team up. I would love to see Bond with 005 one time, or 003, or who's 001? Is 1 better than 2? 2 better than 3? I want a whole ranking system.
Or you get a certain number because you have a specific set of skills that is
if
like
you're
007.
But if you're 007, 006 dies, do you move up a rank? Now you're 06?
I don't know.
I know.
But she was very possessive of the number, so I was trying to figure out, is it a certain, elite...
Yeah, I think there's 9. There's only 9. And so...
But is there, some sort of, caveat behind being 007?
Because 007 is infamous.
Maybe. I saw it as he left an open seat, so she wanted to take the seat. She didn't care whose seat it was. She wanted to get 007... She wanted to be a 00.
Well, right.
So there was only one seat, so she took that one.
Yeah.
There was no other option, you know.
Yeah.
If he's in, she's out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way I read it. But I want a whole breakdown of the 00 program.
Mm-hmm.
MI6. Let's get on that.
Yeah.
Well, that would ruin it, I'm sure, but still. Mm-hmm.
I will say that at this one, probably most of anyone, there were no female victims. Like, everyone was could handle themselves, tougher than they looked.
That's one
skilled.
thing that Craig's Bond has done, is bring him into the 21st century a bit.
Right.
Not entirely, but a bit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the hilarity and the shock or like uneasiness of watching the old movies. Like, this is out of control.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, you kind of go in knowing that and kind of
Yeah.
wanting it, but it's even seeing it when it happens. It's
crazy.
It's significant.
Yeah.
But that's who Bond is, because that's who the writer. I'm drawing a blank.
Ian Fleming?
Ian Fleming. That's who Ian Fleming was. He was the ultimate misogynist. He hated lesbians. Like he was a drunk. All of that stuff was true. So that's who Bond is. Which is why I don't think Bond could ever be a female, because you have to keep his core, because he's such a crazy character. He's so bad and flawed. What was I gonna say? Bond. They're talking about 00s.
So what do we think about M? And this whole program that got created under his watch?
I mean, he has to go to jail for this.
Right.
This guy's a maniac.
Yeah, that was... yeah, he's kind of committing war crimes.
I know. I mean...
I was like, what is he doing? Nothing in this world is ever created, and it is simply used for this pure whatever. Like, it is always weaponized.
I like it when they have the whole Scooby-Doo gang together, like behind Bond, like working and helping him solve the problem, whatever. But M is a loose cannon that no one saw
He's
coming.
almost worse than Bond.
He's way worse than Bond. He's way worse than Bond.
Yeah.
He did nothing in Spectre when he could have tried to do something and said his hands were tied. In this movie, he's committing war crimes or beyond, unleashing some sort of nanotech global pandemic, potentially, or whatever the hell. I mean, it's different, but he's a problem.
Yeah.
He's a huge problem.
Yeah. I will just say, in general, do you think this movie had the highest body count of any of the Bonds?
Of any of the Bonds, all Bonds considered.
Yeah. Well, let's first start with Craig, and then we can talk about others. But
Craig for sure.
I mean, it was insane when they were in that tunnel situation. I mean, it was like a what's the big video game? The big shoot-up game.
Oh, I don't.
Call of Duty.
Yes,
Call of Duty. Thank you.
I don't,
Like it was like that. It was just shoot 'em up and yeehaw. Like it was every 2 seconds.
Blow up that base in Spectre. I don't know how many people were in that place, but not as many.
I don't.
I know.
That doesn't count.
I
I'm
know.
talking about scene.
One-on-one kills. Like,
One-on-one kills. I think this one takes the cake.
Casino, no. Quantum, no. Skyfall, no. But that's got more than you think. Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Totally easy. So, I had one small nitpick. Toward the end, when Q injects him with smart blood. How many times are we going to do this with this guy? In every movie? Does this stuff, like, expire after a month?
But I kind of felt like that was the joke, though.
I'm sure
like,
it was, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, in the last movie, or 2 movies ago, when they created this horseshit smart blood thing, you injected him. In Casino Royale, you injected him with a thing that Lashif cut out. He's always trying to be tracked, and no one can ever track him for very long. But if he's got the stupid nanites in his blood or whatever, do they just go away? Do they?
The smart
blood.
The nanobots eat the smart blood,
They are the smart blood.
No, that's not true.
When he is injected with smart blood in Skyfall,
Spectre.
Oh,
Spectre.
It is also nanobots too. They're
he
just having a
says
laser fight in his body.
They're nanobots.
Pew pew.
He calls it smart blood. Anyway, so like they must like die after.
Lamest name ever.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's my most hated gadget of all Bond gadgets, I guess. I don't know. There's a long list of horrible ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a problem with that.
So, what did you guys think of Rami Malek?
Fine.
Yeah. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't bring much to it.
I guess it felt like such a stretch that the whole story there just felt a little much. I didn't understand the whole facial disfiguration thing.
He got exposed to an early version of the nano weapon.
Whatever it's up. Yeah.
That didn't kill him, but just affected him.
Yeah.
That's what I gathered.
Yeah, it was sort of, I felt like it was like a throwaway line or something.
Totally.
Where like it was like it happened and it was everybody in his family looked like that.
Yeah.
But it was, it just felt like that got glossed over.
And then, so Madeline's dad killed his family.
Right.
And so then he killed her mother.
Right. But saved her.
Yeah. Bond killed her father. Well, let him kill himself. Mr. White.
Right.
But then he saved her. Like, it was... That part was unnecessarily confusing and not compelling at all.
And so the reason he wanted to kill off Spectre was what?
I don't think that was ever answered.
Like that
other than to just take power to wipe out Blofeld and all his supporters. So that he could be
Mr. White killed his family on orders of Spectre.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, maybe that's it. That could
Spectre killed his family, so I'm going to kill Spectre.
Yeah. And so he wanted to use Madeline as an agent to finish off Blofeld.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to eventually kill her and the daughter? Or he was using them to get to Bond? And why did he want to get to Bond? So Bond couldn't stop him?
I don't think he wanted to get to Bond.
So then why did he take her and the daughter?
They were just going to be...
Bond was going to try and stop him.
Yeah. Bond was coming,
it just felt
Bond was coming after him.
It felt a little messy.
So he just took them as a human shield or ransom
insurance policy, whatever they like to call it.
Well, and I will say that Rami Malek did the Dr. Evil like slow talking too as the bad guy. Yeah. Like it was he would go into a monologue, and I was like, I just missed what he said for the last 30 seconds because my brain isn't working that slowly in this movie.
Let's back it up to Spectre. What a complete waste of Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
The whole Blofeld thing was just garbage. And you bring in this high-powered actor who does nothing in 2 movies.
But him writing in that...
The little
box.
The little box.
Box on
I
wheels?
was like dying. I was like waiting.
It was like one of those
ridiculous.
carnival games where the picker,
dunk tank.
the picker. Oh, the
It looked
dunk
like
tank.
a dunk tank.
But it was like slow, like the picker toy. I'm like, this is.
But it felt like an Austin Powers thing. Like it was it was ridiculous.
That was definitely a nod to the old Bond.
Right, I
Bond
know.
stuff,
I know.
It was so.
That's why it was ridiculous.
But it was nonsensical. Why would he be in that box? Why was it so slow moving?
The unnecessarily slow-moving dipping mechanism.
Yes. It's like getting run over by a Zamboni. Like it took forever.
Or the steamroller.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was a waste, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the ludicrous version of Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said this to Eric, and I think we all need to see this movie at least one more time, if not 2 more times, to
Right. Internalize
really
everything.
figure it out. But I think it's an easy one because the bar is so low. This is Daniel Craig's 3rd best Bond movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Casino Royale, Skyfall, in whatever order you want, and then this.
Yeah.
And then Quantum, Inspector.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think I would agree with that.
I there's no way anybody can argue that, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm still...
Because I like Quantum more than most people, but it's got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened during a writer's strike. It's bad because nobody could finish the script. I mean, they just were winging it for a while.
Yeah. I will say also, this movie felt more coherent all the way through.
Yeah.
Like Spectre was a little.
I would love to see the cut that was done, because this was supposed to come out at the end of 2019.
Oh, really?
It was like November of that year, and then it got pushed to like April of 2020 or some thereabout. When the pandemic hit, then it got pushed back 3 or 4 times, and we know what happened there. So there's probably a cut in 2019 that things might not have been so cohesive and so clear. It might have been wonky back then.
So
Who
do
knows?
you think between November and April they recut it?
I think if you give any... It's true in any work that I do on my side of things. If you give an editor of any type extra time, they will edit up to the deadline. So if you give them 3 extra months to read that they have just sitting around waiting for the premiere, they're going to unlock that thing and change things and fix it in edit.
And they had, 2 years?
Yeah. So I think last year they may have, I'm not sure if they were reshoots or pickups or whatever, but they had a lot of time to sort of dial it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. It worked.
Yeah. I was... What part of Italy were they in at the beginning? I have never seen...
I want to say Amalfi.
Yeah?
Or that area, at least. It wasn't Portofino, but...
Yeah, no, I know.
I think it was that part of Italy.
I just don't feel like I have ever seen that landscape, that...
No, it was...
Like, I've never... I don't think I've ever seen... I'm like, where is this place? It sounded
funny
like
because
Italian, but...
They didn't have any, little headers.
Like a subtitle.
Little subtitle saying where they were. They usually do that, but they didn't this time.
Yeah.
And on that note, why would Vesper Lynd be buried there?
Well, she died in Venice.
That's right, she did die in Venice. That's right.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe... I don't know.
I like that Bond went back and spent time in... Was it Jamaica? No, Bahamas.
It was Jamaica.
Jamaica. Because that's where GoldenEye is. That's where the original...
Yeah.
Where Fleming did his work. It's always Jamaica.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I mean,
this whole thing was filled with
all of the locations. Italy, Jamaica, Cuba, like Northern Europe, like where they're in like Norway, like where there's going to be snow. If they would have only been in the Alps or something like that to have like some ski situation.
Yeah.
And then of course London, like they hit all the locations.
Yeah.
It's really the first time that like the whole sort of he's on foot car chase in the foggy forest never kind of that was sort of a different location despite actually hitting all the other ones.
You've never seen Bond in the forest. Really.
Yeah. They still did something a little bit different too.
I did like, though, I felt in this one, they showed just a little bit of the in-between, between like a fight scene and here and then going to another location, him walking down the street, like after the forest fight.
Yeah.
You know he doesn't have a vehicle to get anywhere, so he's like just walking on the side of the road, like trying to get to the next place.
Yeah, any other movie and
quick cut.
Or 007 would have found him in the woods right then, and then that's how it would have been his out. But here they showed him actually getting a mile or so down the road before he gets picked up.
I'm just gonna walk the earth.
Yeah. Or he's in the lifeboat, just like floating in the middle of nowhere type thing, and it gets picked up. But
so, what do we want to see? Forget about who is the next Bond. What do we want to see in the next installment of Bond? Either a movie or a series of movies.
I still want to see more of the lead up to becoming a 00 agent.
I want to see.
I definitely want to see.
He's got to be young.
I want to see young Bond. I want to see college age Bond or training montage Bond.
Yeah. Oh my God, there better be a montage.
Yeah. I want him. I want the Kingsman version of Bond.
Yeah.
So
There's
totally
a 00
enjoy
Academy somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I totally enjoy
Hogwarts for Bond.
The current Q in that role.
Yeah.
Will that
Ben Wishaw?
Yeah, will that change in the next Bond? Like, will they go with a complete new cast, new M?
I would hope they keep it like they kept M as the holdover from the Brosnan era.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You can keep some of them. It was the same Q all the way through up until
Desmond
Llewellyn?
Llewellyn?
Yeah. Llewellyn, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to see them keep the cast together as much as possible. Mm-hmm. But if you do that, then you're going to go back to a 35, 40-year-old Bond, which is fine. That's how
Why?
You're not going to have young Bond with that established group.
Well, but the old Q wasn't always super old. He was younger. Like, I mean, there could be a...
I know. I'm just saying.
He might be the senior. You know, he's the more experienced.
No, I know, but if you go with our idea of young Bond, he's not going to be at MI6 working with M. He's going to be training at 00 boot camp.
High school.
Yeah, 00 high school. Dazed in 00.
Yeah.
Fast Times at 00 High.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I would love to see that. If we don't get that, if we go straight normal Bond, it's got to be like a Henry Cavill or somebody who's 37 or whatever age it is.
Yeah.
Because Bond's always, but we've said before, he's always between age 35, 37, and 47.
Yeah, I don't need him to start super young. I want it like when he's got some talent, he's identified to be trained for this program. Like where I
do want to see missions though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There still would be missions. It's just he might not have the license to kill yet. He's going to be... There's going to be more direction, or there's going to, and then you'll get what you want. Here's a mission for you, and you will do this.
The cold open be some sort of pre-00 adventure that gets him identified, and then you get your training montage of him being a 00, and then his first mission.
I basically want a Netflix series of 00 College. And then I want the movies to go off of that. I want him to be already a 00 in the movies. I think. Whatever. But yeah, I want him to go in and get a mission and go execute it.
Yeah.
No more rogue bullshit.
I mean, I liked it a little bit more, I think, than you did.
The Craig Bond stuff is unassailable, sure.
Yeah.
But in there, you could have made a mission, I think. I don't know. Quantum could have been a mission.
So why... Okay, so do we know why... Did they ever explain why the U.S. and the British were not talking?
No, they glossed over that.
Like, it was such an interesting comment, like a status. Like, why wouldn't they be?
You could infer that Trump was president. I don't know how deep they get into that stuff. It's irrelevant, but yeah. Oh, are you gonna have this? No. Yeah. So I want. We gotta find a new Bond. Idris Elba's too old, unfortunately. Henry Cavill would fucking nail it. I mean, Man from U.N.C.L.E. 2 is not gonna happen. I don't think ever. So let's just have him roll right into Bond.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't think Naomie is going to be back as some other 00 agent.
That could be the...
I mean, it would be cool if she was, but I don't
maybe she could be the mentor of whoever the new James Bond would be.
She did relinquish 007, so she
gave
could
that up
be
quick,
a
man.
00...
She wanted it so bad,
whatever,
then she's like, yeah, fine. But maybe she ends up being 008.
Yeah.
She's the guy. She's the one that the new guy teams up with.
Yep.
A buddy cop movie.
So what do we know? What do we know? Because let's talk about the song.
So I don't like it at all.
It was Billie Eilish, right?
I don't like it at all.
It was a little slow.
The last two have been bad.
So they used a trident.
Right.
Like was a lot in there, and it was just. It just seemed like a random symbol for the tracker. Like I didn't get the connection.
It either. I don't know what the trident was.
Other than it was just the symbol that he showed
What was
up.
the name of the virus?
Started with an H, didn't it?
Hercules or something?
Yeah.
Maybe that is a Greek god that has a trident.
Oh, maybe.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, because it was a trident, and was it a theta symbol? That she was.
It was some sort of a circle deal, right?
Like he was the trident, she was like a circle, like it was like theta or something like that. Circle with the horizontal.
Yeah.
But I just did. It felt too flimsy of a connection for the opening.
They put too many fucking tridents in there. Like it didn't. It was meaningless for most of the film.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole idea was that okay, it's Bond, but I couldn't connect why the symbol.
No, I think you're right.
It was that was a little off to me. Because usually, like, that kind of tells a lot about, like, foreshadowing in the movie.
All right.
Yeah. Another thing that bothered me, and maybe I just missed it, but Blofeld was so insistent that the truth about Madeline was going to just destroy Bond.
Right.
But then there really was nothing there.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Was it the daughter? Was that supposed to be the thing that he
I have to think so, but I don't know how Blofeld would know that. How would he know?
But he was just so insistent that it was just going to...
He probably saw her pregnant and knew.
How? Oh, because she
was the psychologist.
The psychologist while he was in jail. Yeah, maybe.
But then I guess everybody else should have known.
But he was so insistent that it was just going to destroy him.
Yeah.
Right.
And that just was never the case.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of holes in this thing. It's not perfect, but...
I mean, almost none of them are. I mean, Casino Royale is pretty dang good.
It's no Skyfall. It's no Casino Royale.
Yeah.
But it's a good number 3.
Yeah. Again, I think good conclusion for the Daniel Craig series. Again, it was a little hard to swallow that ending, but it was the only ending based on the plot until the end of the movie. That was the only way that could end.
All right.
I was really hoping something was going to be in doo-doo or whatever the little toy was. That it was going to have like a weapon in there or something like that.
Strange that he picked it up and carried it around for the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, fine.
I mean, again, it kind of shows his humanity and kind of the connection with the daughter, but...
Unless you have one more thing to add. Let's wrap this up. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
10 being your favorite Bond, whichever one it is. What number do you give this?
Out of 1 to 10?
So are we rating it as a good movie 1 out of 10 or
as a Bond movie? So
1 to 10 is a Bond film.
Yeah. So my 10 is Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's probably like a 7.
007?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably like a 7.
Eric?
Yeah, my first thought, was 7, but then
first time we saw it, so it may change.
But yeah, when you explain that it's 1 out of 10 as a Bond film, I would consider giving it an 8, but I'll stick with 7. Maybe after a second time seeing it, maybe then I'll raise it up. But
I think I'm giving it an 8. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat you guys are. I'll give it one notch higher for all of the little extra stuff it put in there.
Yeah.
All the little nods and little jokes and little extra Bondiness oomph it gave to everything. I'm going to give it an 8. All right, 007, 007 and a half, and 008.
Yep.
That's a good Bond movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Worth it.
Worth it.